All right, big idea here, the difference quotient. And if tradition holds, you're going to see one of these on the final exam, so we want to feel really good about these. In fact, it's such a big idea, I'm going to have a separate practice assignment that's just working with the difference quotient, so you can really get some practice. We want to feel good about this one. So here's a typical problem. Evaluate f of a plus h minus f of a over h. So this is just the difference quotient. It's just a formula. And it's basically, as I explained in the previous slide, it's basically just finding the slope of something. Okay, so it's finding slope. Change in y over change in x. So this is not something you need to remember. It'll be provided for you on the assignments, on the final exam, on any exams or quizzes or anything that you would have in this class. So this will be provided. Then they give us some kind of function they want us to evaluate it. So all this is evaluating a function. I'm going to break it down like this here as we get started. Let's break it into pieces. So f of a plus h, f of a plus h. Again, I'm just going to do this in pieces. What does that mean? Well, if this said f of 2, we'd just go to this function and I'd just plug a 2 in everywhere there was an x and we'd get a number. If it said f of a, I'd go plug an a in for x and I'd get a number. Well, in this case it's f of a plus h. So everywhere there's an x, I'm going to plug an a plus h in and we're going to see what happens. So, excuse me, let's go do that. So I have 2 times a plus h quantity squared minus 3 times a plus h. That's f of a plus h. Now, of course, we can simplify that, can't we? And so let's go ahead and do that. So 2 times a plus h squared. Well, a plus h squared would be a squared plus 2ha plus h squared. So, and if you need to convince yourself of that, just write out a plus h times a plus h. So that's going to be 2a squared plus 4ha, or you could write ah, I mean the order doesn't matter there, plus 2h squared. Then let's distribute that minus, so minus 3a minus 3h. So this right here is f of a plus h. Well, let's do minus f of a. That's pretty straightforward. You just plug an a in here for x and it's going to be minus, so we're just going to subtract everything. So we'd have minus 2a squared plus 3a. So we've got f of a plus h minus f of a. Let's just put them together now. So I'm going to write this out. So 2a squared plus 4ha plus 2h squared minus 3a minus 3h. Now we'll do this guy. Minus 2a squared plus 3a. And this is all over h. So we've basically just applied this equation. Now at this point a bunch of stuff should cancel out. 2a squared minus 2a squared goes away. Negative 3a plus 3a goes away. Alright, let's see what we've got. Let me rewrite it. So 4ha plus 2h squared minus 3h over h. On the top, notice each of these terms has an h. So let's factor h out. So I'd have h times 4a plus 2h minus 3 all over h. Well, h divided by h cancels out, right? Divides away. And I'm left with 4a plus 2h minus 3. And that is our difference quotient. Again, basically evaluating a function. So don't be intimidated by it. We're going to work a number of examples here. I'm going to have a video for each one. Get us some practice. But basically evaluate a function. If it helps, break it down. Go through it in pieces like I just did.